All right, and call the
Can I
January.
have 2 more minutes to connect?
Okay,
I'm still not in.
okay.
That's weird, it's not.
Yeah, that's
Two
right.
in case I forget.
You're getting the lean there.
It's definitely that one, but Cindy said it took a
Shut
minute.
that off. Now,
So,
Bruce Township Pike,
Yeah.
okay?
And it takes a minute, then orange cloud comes up, and you accept.
Is that action needed? What?
you have
It's
to
weird,
accept
because
it.
normally it connects right through my phone.
Here, I might have a hotspot.
Okay, good. Yeah, I had to run my iPad off a hotspot.
Oh, did I just get out of it?
I was going to call you last night and ask you if you'd fill in for me here. Because I did Washington and then I came over here.
Oh, yeah.
But I timed it just right. I came in and Dr. Robinson just up at the podium, was just finishing, and that was right after him. So it was like perfect time.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was here until 6:30, 6:45.
I got here at 7. Are you on?
I got tired of this.
Nah.
In?
I was like, my dinner's cooking, I'm leaving after I was done.
Okay, came up to MSN. Let me read the news first.
Yeah. All right, you ready back there,
Really
Eli?
got till 9, you know.
All right, all right.
Got here at 9.
9? I thought it was 10. Oh, okay. All right. Call the meeting, Parks and Rec and Star Commission, January 18th to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. You want to call the roll? One of you? Oh,
Pam Geddert,
Here.
Bob Billock,
here.
Cindy Knight,
Here?
Dan Dykowski.
Here?
All right. Any deletions, additions to the agenda items?
It looks like some things that are on here, and I'm not sure which those were, Cindy, but it looks like they may be redundant, and we just keep throwing them on here.
No, I think I looked, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
It looked like they were tabled until this one.
Okay?
Because we didn't
All right.
have a December.
Yeah. They were tabled till December, so.
Gotcha.
Didn't have a December.
Okay.
So that being said, we want to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for January 18th, 2024.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. No, I do that.
Okay, good.
Okay, consent agenda. Approval of the November 16th, 2023 and the updated September 2023 minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those? They're in your packet. I believe the changes were made. That's the next item. So, does anybody have any problems with the minutes? Okay, so we're good with those. Approval of the accounts payable November 18th to January 12th. Everybody had a chance to review those. I know Cindy and I have, because we get them by email, and we sign the checks, so. I did not have any discrepancies anywhere. If you guys don't,
Make a motion to approve the minutes for September 20 through updated September 2023, the minutes for November 16th, 2023, and the accounts payable November 18th through January 12th.
second, oh, go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Cool. Moving along. Right, legal counsel. You have anything to say right now?
Thank you, Chairperson Billy. I don't have anything at this moment.
Okay.
For you, but certainly if there's any questions, come up.
All right, we will. Community comments. Community, what you got? Name?
My name is Betty Cassidy. I live over on Benjamin.
All right.
I am part of the Village of Romeo Tree Board. On January 23rd at 7 o'clock, we're having a special meeting. We're asking people they want for ideas for Arbor Day this year, because we did the one park last year, and we're just looking for new ideas, parks or other ones. So I wanted to put that out there, maybe get some time to discuss it. I'm going to talk with Ms. Russell later on in the week, see if there's anything she comes up with.
You guys
Thank you.
have any plans?
No, that's, we're having a brainstorm meeting next week, on Tuesday.
Okay.
Betty, so it would be for trees in Romeo Village parks that are within Washington Township and,
Yes, within the village,
okay,
Within the village.
within the village. We can't really do anything out of the village.
right.
And it doesn't have to be downtown, because we're not part of the downtown. Public is welcome,
Right.
and I
Where
don't
is it at?
think, it's at the Parks and Rec South Building Meeting Room, where all the other meetings,
Yeah.
except for this
The
one.
Romeo Village has their meetings, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Director's report.
All right, so the spending report over 2,500, I did go through, highlighted. There is nothing that doesn't have a contract to point out, so I guess I could have taken that off the schedule, but I did not. So that is just an information update. The commission calendar for 2024, you should have a copy of it with the dates and the locations. I did talk to Washington Township because we had discussed flip-flopping back and forth every year from township to township. So this year, it seems like everything is okay. I don't think I got 100% approval, but, oh, no, I think I did.
You did.
As a matter of fact, yeah. So we should be good on that unless any of the dates you see, I don't even think I had to move any of the dates because of the holidays.
Yeah,
Holiday.
nothing looks like,
Yeah.
when's Thanksgiving? It's not the 21st.
It is late this year. It's like the 28th or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I haven't looked at the dates to the calendar, so I'm going to do that right now real quick.
okay, go ahead. The Washington calendar?
We'll edit that. And done. Okay.
I don't know if you need to know that far ahead. The March meeting. I'll be on a plane.
Future events. Okay. 16, June 20th. And there, July 18th.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah, November this year, Thanksgiving's the following week, so we're definitely good there. And then December on the 19th, none of the municipalities are closed.
No.
Okay. And I don't believe anything is closed in Parks and Rec. Is that correct?
Well, we would be at the township anyways, even if we're closed. We close to clean. I don't know if that falls on, we'll be fine, because we'll be at the township.
It'd be the 19th, right? December? Yeah, we're still.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Like
guessing we
that some
won't
of these
start
meetings
Christmas
are
break
early.
until the end of that week either.
In the month, because there's 5 weeks.
Yep.
I don't think we'll start Christmas break till the end of that week
Right,
either.
yeah. We just strip floors and stuff like that, so we close down early. Well, the office is still there.
Okay.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the commission calendar for 2024, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the south building, the discussion had been brought up about $100 per month for the storage areas that we're using. And I would like to continue to use those. I did suggest that possibly we do cleaning, our weekly cleaning every week, which is just the vacuuming and emptying the garbage, instead of paying a payment. But that would have to be a discussion with the commission and the village. Or if you would like me to pursue it, let me know and I can talk to them.
I mean, personally, I mean, approximately how many square feet of storage are we talking?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, but the height is the main.
Okay,
I would say it's about the size of this room when you
Oh.
combine both areas.
that's, $100 a month is cheap.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that seems reasonable.
yeah,
I-
it's,
That's very reasonable. And, I mean, I wouldn't have any objection swapping services if what we're providing for them is
Swapping what?
swapping services, they do
Doing
the
the cleaning.
vacuuming and the cleaning, instead of the village writing them a check for the cleaning and stuff, and
so
us.
from what I understand though, is that the village board they had talked about it and they had said the $100. The cleaning part was something that was discussed before, so I had just mentioned it in another email back and forth. And then, it was just said, we'll talk to the commission, and if that's the way they want to go, we could approach it that way. And then they would just have Mr. Clark write an agreement, either way.
It might be easier and simpler just to write them a check.
Yeah.
Before we do any kind of, once we have the agreement in front of us, then we can do a discussion. And then, wherever the discussion leads to, my fear is creep back into that building, and next thing you know, what we just got rid of and had paid for all these years and didn't use much of, we're now paying for again.
Right,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
just the $100.
and, yep,
And being done with that.
I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
It's easier for us. so.
Yep. And that way, there's no, well, you didn't do what,
Right.
you know.
Okay.
Because
so-
if we're, we could be paying a lot more for cleaning, and if we're just doing a trade-off there,
Right.
and we're putting in $300-400 worth of cleaning.
Right.
Because I know what it costs at the township, all right, and we've approved bills here for cleaning, so we have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So we want to,
Well, it was just going to be a staff who vacuums, empties garbage once a week and cleans the bathroom. So it was probably equivalent, honestly. A little inexpensive at this point, but that's fine.
yeah, I'd rather them hire their own cleaning service, but that's a discussion for once we get a proposal to us.
Okay, so nothing is needed for that.
No,
So I'll move on to the budget 24-25. That is in process. We have been working on it. what I would like to do is possibly just set aside a special meeting so that we can meet and just, and that would be the only thing discussed at that time.
Probably a good idea.
So do you have an electronic copy that we can fill in and work off of?
Well, I'll do the budget. We'll do the budget just because we know.
I
what
worked
the
on it
expenses
last year,
are.
so I know too.
Sure.
So this is a budget that is supposed to be put together with you and with this commission.
But wouldn't you rather, though, that I put
No,
something
that's how I'd
together
rather
so
have
you
it.
could look at it and then make changes?
No,
at that
that's how
point?
I'd rather have it. So I'd like to be involved in the very beginning, have a copy of it. So if you could send that out to the board.
Well, I mean, I think a draft of what's needed and what has been, you know, what your needs are, you know, the programs and things.
Right.
And then we can add in from there.
Well, here's my concern.
Just take last year's?
Huh?
Can't you just take last year's? and work off of
I
that?
get that, but here's my issue. We approved a budget last year. At no time was it ever said that we had $36,000 budgeted for every park. And then all of a sudden it showed up.
There's a reason for that.
No, there's never a reason for that.
Well,
There's
let me
never a
explain
reason.
that because
Yeah,
I-
there is.
No, I'm talking. There's never a reason for that right there. Budgets
Okay.
are to be transparent. This is taxpayer money. There are no reasons to hide money, to hide
It's
budget.
not hidden money.
Wait, Bernard. The reason it was split up is because when we budgeted, it was in one account. One account for Washington, one account for Bruce. So to be transparent, we listed all of the parks. So anytime an expense came in this year, Berna would take it, split it into that park so that you could see exactly how much money was being spent in each
In
location.
which park?
For maintenance, we did that for improvements, we did that for. It is,
And that's the way it should
absolutely, you
be
can
done.
have a copy, a digital copy, and do whatever you would like, and we will continue to work on our copy, and then we can compare.
But the way it was done was if we had that one lump sum, and then if I broke everything down into individual parks, you're going to see all these expenses to parks that didn't have any money allocated to it. So we just took, Bruce has this many parks, Washington has this many parks, this is the number we have for Bruce, we divide it by that and split it up. So we don't, you know, probably we're going to have to move some of that, but it's, the whole nut dollar is still under that, and we just did like a .01, .02. It's all there, exactly how it was.
Yeah, we should be looking at each park and actually kind of.
Well, that's what we wanted to
That's
do,
what-
is make it
That's
more
what they're
doing.
accurate.
Yep.
So when do you think you would have a pretty good idea so we could schedule?
So I would like to aim towards the end of February, because I'm out of town until the 17th.
And then when you present to the township after, what,
Would be in March.
Well,
I
when's
mean,
our
we
next
can,
meeting?
When is our March meeting?
Our February meeting's the 15th.
okay,
Yeah.
so
I am out of town.
What's your dates that you're on vacation?
I will be gone February 1st through the 19th is a holiday, so the 20th I will be back. So we can do the end of January if that works. I
When
mean,
does that work?
that's it's
The end of
pretty much
January is
what we
next
got.
week.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, are you
Yes, it is.
guys ready?
Yeah, I mean, I can be with you overlooking it and seeing.
A rough draft.
Yeah, of what it is. I mean, again, we take the year prior, look at what's happening through December, we'll have at that point, and then just make sure, or kind of like, look at, is the pool going to be closed? Is this going to happen? Is whatever is going to happen? And we move that money into that. Or what projects have we completed this year, and which ones do we need to move those funds into next year? So it's not, it's not easy, but
Right.
it's, I think, very clear once you look at it. And then on the budget, and I'll just send you guys the draft, so you can look at it, all of you can look at it and see where we're at. But if you're confused or it doesn't make sense to you, let me know, because at this point, it's my own scratch, you know what I mean?
And
We're trying to
there's
figure it
still going to
out.
be a lot of.
I mean, I would hate to.
It's very
I would hate to
rough.
put at least a first meeting. I'd hate to put that off until the end of February, because then we're into March. So if we can do something sooner than that, I mean, I'm okay with that.
I don't know what everybody else is.
What's everybody's schedule?
What was your question?
Schedule.
Schedule.
Over to
For
plant
next
something.
week.
Oh, we kind of have a week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next week or the following?
What do you mean we have a week and a half to get it done?
No, I mean, in January before Claire's out of
If we want to
town.
meet, all of us.
Just to
Yeah,
get, just to
I'm leaving
get,
out of town tomorrow, and I will be back February. Wrong year. Let's go 24.
I have a suggestion that maybe we could continue going back and forth digitally. Is that even like, so you could kind of see if you had
that's
to
against
do
all
this?
that.
yeah,
Can't
that,
do that.
that's against open meetings act.
Now, we could meet as a committee as a whole, but we can't do it digitally.
Okay, well, I mean, again, in the past, the Parks and Recreation Director and the accountant have put this together. The commissioners look at it, ask questions, either approve it, change it, do whatever, and then it went to the board. So,
Through the chair, it sounds like that's still a good starting.
That's a good
point.
starting
But for purposes of edits, changes.
right, the meeting.
Needs to
Wants,
be.
that has to happen at an open meeting.
Right.
Okay,
But this, recognizing that the chairman wants an electronic version, still, it sounds like you can still be working on your draft, which would be a recommendation for starting point at some point for the commission to decide whether it agrees.
so, did that mean, I'll send an electric draft to everybody,
Right.
but we're gonna set up a meeting?
Well, and I
At some
mean,
point.
maybe we don't, once we get the electronic draft and get a chance to look at it, maybe we don't need a meeting right away.
And I would suggest, in addition to the electronic draft, is give us the year-to-date.
Oh, it's all included, plus the last 2 years.
Year-to-date should be, yeah, what I just gave the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll get you guys copies
And-
of that.
How many years' worth do you have of historical?
well, there's like,
All of them.
yeah, I mean, we could, but no. The,
COVID.
would be the last couple, I mean, is the way you're gonna want to look at
Yeah,
it.
because we want to reference a couple of years, I would think,
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
that would give us.
They're gonna not be on the same sheet of paper for Star, they will be, but for Parks and Rec, because it's just
Well,
bigger
the
revenue.
past budgets are on the website, aren't they?
Yeah,
So I mean, if we want to reference
but I will, I'll put
Something
them there so that you can
past,
see.
we can,
But the COVID and then the next year.
yeah, you can throw those years
Right,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
you're
2000
talking 2019, 2020, 2021,
Yeah, we have I have those,
you know,
actually, so,
and I agree with you, those are meaningless.
and they're always within the budget, so.
So are you out of town then? Or was that 20?
I am out of town until February. Wants to keep taking me to 2025. So I'm out of town until February 4th. I'm back in. Now, I got to be real careful because I have budget meetings for township 4 weeks in a row every Wednesday. And then I have board meetings for 2 Wednesdays. So,
We won't schedule them on a Wednesday.
pardon?
So we won't schedule them on a Wednesday.
So if this helps, we
and-
can, Berna can do it
I was
in
going to say,
February.
can Berna, 'cause
Yeah,
Berna knows the
100%.
numbers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Certainly.
Yeah. That will make me very happy.
Okay.
That's good. Okay, so we'll do it in February. But I will still send you a copy.
Okay. So we won't do a special, we'll just put it on the February meeting.
And then if we need a special,
Then
do
we,
it
yep,
Yeah.
Do it
at the
after.
end of
So we'll
February.
incorporate it in the February 15th meeting.
yes.
Yeah.
And Verna's going to be here for the special meeting?
Well, it's not going to be a special meeting.
I mean, for the
For that,
regular
yeah.
meeting?
Mhm.
All right, let me edit this here.
And we can keep the agenda relatively clean.
Right.
you know,
Right.
Other than, that would be the
Yeah.
major item on it. And there's
And
always,
it will probably be good too, because we would have the new, hopefully have, would we have the new
should have,
people sitting on
should have.
the day before it would, it goes to the township at that point, so. Okay, so then, unfinished business, is the master plan hearing? I'm sorry, now I'm taking over here.
No, you're good. Next
Question, where does this come in?
What's that?
Those are the bills that we're talking about when it gets closer to Washington Township, or,
Oh, that's down.
yeah.
Yep.
So this is Washington Township bills, is what this is.
That is, yeah, discussion that had happened at the last meeting, and then we just need to like clarify it and move on, or figure out and go for it.
Yeah, I know about a lot of the communication, and I've seen the emails.
Oh, okay.
That's
Right.
not what we're on right now, though, right?
No,
Right.
so the master plan.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I didn't know where this was fitting in,
No.
why I got all this stuff and why
Got
it
it.
was fitting in.
Got it.
So, sorry.
This is the time for any public comment and all on the
All right,
master
so
plan?
I kind of have an objection to that.
Okay.
Surprise. This right here has never been put together with the boards. It was not put together with the last commission. It was not put together with this commission. We already had, and the director took it upon herself to send it out. She had no authority from this board to do so. I'm sorry. This whole thing is done wrong.
It's on we're on a time constraint.
Well, I'll actually,
You know what? I got next year too.
I'll
No, I don't
happily,
mind the time-
but that is a
We took 3
terrible way
years.
to look at this.
Excuse me, we took 3 years to do ours in Washington Township, and last night we just kicked it back to the PC. So we want to get it done right, and we need the proper people involved. This is not Parks and Rec, hey, this is my master plan. No, this is the community's master plan. There has been no input from these boards. We need to get that.
The last two board meetings, there was a agenda item at the Washington meeting and at the Bruce meeting.
And at the village meeting.
And
know
at-
what?
and at the
But that's
village.
not, but our board has never,
We-
I brought this up in July and I brought it up in August. Our board never looked at it as a whole. The previous board did.
The previous board,
And you know
That's
what?
where
We did not
this
approve it
started.
then, and now this is a whole new package.
you did approve it, Dan.
Listen, 2
I'm
meetings
listening.
ago, you said we approved it,
Nice.
and then you were asked in an email, and you said, no, you're right, it was never approved. And I have that email from you.
Oh, never approved by the, officially approved.
By the
I guess
commission.
okay, if you would like to wait and make the people wait for another year.
You know, don't
it
play that
doesn't-
game.
No, you're playing a game, Dan.
All right, here's how we're going to play this from here on in. I'm not going to take this anymore. We're either going to work together, or you can leave, and we'll continue the
No,
meeting.
no, wait a minute.
Really?
Let's not go
I was
down.
gonna say,
that-
No,
this
no,
doesn't
that's
need
the
to
road we're at
happen
right
like
now.
this.
No, it's
No, it
not
does
where we're at
not.
right now.
Yes,
Dan.
we are.
No, we're not.
Okay, can we just, I guess we could do a special meeting for this. When the previous board was in, they would discuss all this. I remember, I was at a couple meetings.
That's
Our
right.
board has never discussed any of this. We don't even know what we're approving. All we have is this.
But the beginning of this started before we were here.
Exactly.
And when they did the questionnaires and all
Right.
of that kind of stuff to put this report together. This didn't start last month or the month before. This started
Last February.
last year.
Yeah, last February, and never got approved by that board.
So, and here was the
Well, it
thing
wasn't
with all those.
finished, right?
Right, it wasn't finished.
So Bob, here's the thing with all the questions, that survey. All those questions were put together without any board input.
That is not true.
That is absolutely true. So they
We
were
did
put
it.
together
There are
without any board
videos.
input at all.
There was videos for the community, the entire board was there. Like, I don't know what you want. If you want this not to be approved by February 1st because you think that it is horrible, we looked at all the capital developments that are in it.
We have?
We have.
I haven't.
Yes, because you were
We have
going to
not-
take
We've
them.
looked at it, but we have not discussed it.
I don't know what your
Anything's in
motive
there I
is.
disagree
You guys
with, and There's
decide.
things in there that I believe should be in there.
Decide. And again, this Parks and Recreation Commission is supposed to be here for the residents. This is a master plan that
I don't need a
has,
lecture on what we are supposed to be here for.
Okay,
I know
I'm
why
done.
this was put together. I was part of the governing body that helped put this
Oh, you
agreement
helped.
together.
You did.
Put it
You
together.
absolutely helped put this
But
together.
it was never approved.
Then there,
But
whatever.
it was, the previous board couldn't approve it because it wasn't done. I mean, it was.
When did it
They
get
were
done?
working on it.
When did it get done? Was it under the previous board or was it under this board?
It was under this board. that it
This
probably
board
got
did not
finished.
No, it
have
never
any-
got done under the previous board.
Right.
It never got approved for
It
the
never got
previous
done
board.
on-
You must
No,
have.
it got-
some-
there was
you
a
must have approved
technicality.
The expense.
We didn't. We approved the expense originally, but that was it. But that was with board input. We never got it.
The company that was handling it, because I remember watching the company that was handling it, didn't show a few times.
They didn't
And-
show every time.
Well, not
No, he was here that
But
one. I think
What
he was here that
happened was at the end, we missed the timeline with, we were going to have a whole bunch of special meetings and it felt very rushed and whatever to get through. So this seemed, the surveys, the meetings, the people coming, I mean, I don't think we could have had any more invitations to the public to come and look at this. Could have we had more with this board? Possibly, but you've all been to all of these meetings. We're not limited on everything that is happening here. This is not a horrible document. It has great things in it, has the things that we need in the park, and it doesn't mean,
All right,
it's a
you say
guide.
we need, who's we?
So it's a guide for the Parks and Recreation Director and Commission to know kind of where to go, or at least have a direction on where to
But the
go.
commission did not have an input as to
Again.
the direction.
It's not going to hurt me not to have this. It's going to
Well,
hurt
does-
the people because we spent the money.
You can't
and
play
it-
that game because you didn't do anything for 12 years prior to that with the master plan.
Dan,
And you admitted that to yourself.
Dan, stop.
No,
I'm
no,
not
I'm
exactly
not
sure
gonna
what
stop.
this is.
I'm not going to stop.
Because it's not.
The commission has a full right
Yeah.
and authority
Yeah.
over this right here, not you, Clara Russell.
Listen, I am not trying to own it.
Can we, let's,
Can we tag this on a special meeting to discuss this?
Yes.
And the budget?
Yes.
So we can see what the budget has, what goes in there, because.
I don't know.
although I went to
Can
the
we, Dan?
meetings- Although I went to the meetings, I wasn't involved as much as the previous
Yeah.
board, so I don't even know
well.
what we're looking at.
Well, go ahead, Dan.
If I could, maybe one suggestion that you might want to consider is, it was noticed for a public hearing. To adopt it, you still have to have a public hearing. You could have a public hearing to the extent that there's any public input that's presented to the commission. You don't have to take any action. You could table the ultimate decision as to whether or not you wish to approve and adopt the master plan or not for a special meeting. But that way you will have met the minimum notice period and time period has gone out. You have to do the public hearing anyway.
I
This
believe
board
we've already,
never authorized the director to put that stuff out for a public hearing for notice or anything else.
I believe we've
This
already. done
board
it.
never authorized it.
We didn't authorize it.
Are you saying as far as scheduling the public?
As far as everything, as far as taking notices out and everything, this board has never authorized that. The director took it all upon herself. She overstepped her boundaries.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I know at one time me and you talked and it was going to Bruce and Washington, and I was like, why is it even going there? We hadn't even looked at it. and it was going there.
It was.
They
going-
don't have the
No,
authority
it
over
was-
us.
it was
It's a
only going-
presentation.
It was only going there as a presentation for public comment, to give the public more opportunities than
This-
just one to have
I
input.
get that. This should be step one. This board table should be step
I
one.
agree with that. We
You
should-
skipped step one.
Well, I guess it's a unique situation because it was already created. It was created, the last commission wasn't in the wrong in the thought process of what has been happening within this community. So their insight, just like any other insight that has been taken from the last commission and before that, there is no, I have no need to be in charge of or take advantage of this master plan. If you do not want it passed,
Well, what, the ramifications of us not adopting it in a timely fashion is that you don't get grants.
right?
You know, it really puts a hamper, you know, on us moving forward.
If you'd like,
Master
I could
plan.
do the presentation right now.
Well, I mean, master plans are not gospel, they're not rules, they're an idea, they're a guide.
When we start putting specifics into the master plan and say, I'm going to spend it here and spend it
Right.
here and spend it here, you have now made it a specific. And any master plan that I've ever been involved with, that's never been put in there. It's been, these areas are destined for this, these areas are destined for this. Not that I'm going to put $100,000 into the Romeo Community Center, putting a new bathroom in, divider wall, stuff like that. That kind of stuff has never been in a master plan. Why are we doing that?
Because we're highlighting the things that are needed so that it's out there. for
Who
people.
says it's needed?
Well, the person that has the most knowledge of what's going on a day-to-day
No.
basis,
No,
which
no.
is Clara.
This board is tasked, and this board is the ultimate authority,
It
and
is.
this board should have every say-so and right in putting in what is supposed to be into this right here.
Because you know,
Shouldn't
No, I
it
mean,
be based on
shouldn't you be
surveys and
asking?
information
It
from the
should be
community?
based
sorry?
on this board.
Shouldn't it be based on surveys and things that the community has said and what the community has wanted?
It
Since
also
we're
should
their
be,
voice.
Again, this board is the ultimate authority. So this board should be the step one, and then you bring everything else into it. But you keep this board completely engaged. This board has not been engaged. They have not been presented with anything. This is a brand-new document. With whatever happened on the last commission, doesn't matter. And then here's how I'm
But
going
it's flowing
to
over.
equate that.
It's coming over to us from the last committee.
Here's how I'm going to equate
But it
this.
never got approved. That's why I brought it up in July and August, and then nothing happened to it. And then all of a sudden, December, it's going in front of the people. We didn't have our meeting. We didn't get to approve it. It went to the people, and it's like,
Without the authorization of any board, without any board input into this at all. I object.
I think we, as a board, should go through it, so we know what we're committing to.
Well,
Because how long is this? This is
So-
a
we
we can do
5-year?
that.
So we hired a planner last year to go ahead and do this, and he was supposed to be in front of us, going through all the details. He didn't show. But you know what? Parks and Rec still paid him. And he was still supposed to be here.
the commission paid him.
But
Pardon?
The commission paid him.
not this commission.
No. No, but they did come back
We put it up,
and
we put
started
up an...
working on it again.
We
Right.
objected
why did
to
you-
him being...
why did you
we-
pay him
We
if
objected
you
to him
objected?
being paid.
No, you
We
didn't.
objected to him being paid. Philbrook and I
Then he
both.
wouldn't have gotten paid.
Yeah, what date?
She had already sent the bill out, the check out.
Stop, Dan.
That's not,
Whatever.
I mean,
Like, we just
So
need to
now we're
decide.
getting off track. So let's come back to the master plan here.
Mm-hmm.
The master plan has not been reviewed by this board. It has not been submitted to this board. We have had no planner here to go through this line by line and discuss this. I want the planner here.
Did you watch Washington last night? They had the planner there, and that
No.
was their final. They had tons of meetings. I watched and attended several meetings. We have not had that with our board. we don't have a planner here presenting it. We're given a piece of paper and or a booklet, and we're supposed to go through it. And I think our board, maybe a special meeting, to go through it
With the planner.
with a planner.
I
Whoever
want the
finished
person
it,
who
'cause
put
I
this
don't think the
document
person
together
finished it.
in front of me.
Is that, if we do that, Dan, this is for you, if we do that, clarify what we want, do we have to go through the notice process again, or we already, since we've already done that and had 3 opportunities for the public to come and give comment, do we have to do that again?
Well, it was noticed for a public hearing tonight.
Right.
You can always notice for another public hearing. The consequence of the February 1st deadline, I don't know what the impact of that is with respect to the possibility of grants for this upcoming fiscal year, whether there's that consequence or not. But the points raised as far as the opportunity for the commission to review what's in this plan is legitimate. The commission should have a full opportunity to review what's in this plan. I don't necessarily, and it's certainly the commission's prerogative to decide before it goes forward with a public hearing, which is a prerequisite to it ultimately deciding whether it wishes to adopt it or not adopt it. Whether it wishes to do that now or not, it's the commission's prerogative to make that decision. It just seems, from an efficiency standpoint, because there may be 1 or 2 members of the audience who came out specifically for the public hearing this evening, that you could have the public hearing that's been properly noticed. Whether this commission wants to have another public hearing, that's up to the commission. But there's no requirement that the commission adopt the proposed resolution this evening, and if the commission feels like it needs more time, it should take more time.
Sure.
Before it makes any ultimate decision on the adoption.
Well, when do you want to have a special meeting?
When can we get that planner here?
Could I ask does it make sense, or does the commission agree that for those of the audience that may be here to speak to the issue, that you could open and close
Sure.
the public hearing to get that engagement from the community? You will have met the minimum requirements of having the public hearing that's been properly noticed, and then the commission can decide whether it wants to have another public hearing as
We
well.
could table the
The
resolution.
You don't have to
Yeah,
adopt.
to-
and I understand what you're saying, Dan, but by doing that right there, we're giving the okay that we're going to go ahead and discuss this, that the board has not discussed.
Well, you-
And that I have an issue with.
We're just
You're not
listening, we're not doing anything.
discuss it. You're just listening to public input.
Well, we can take public comment on it anyways without opening a public hearing.
Not to satisfy the public hearing requirement.
Not that was noticed, you mean, that was put out in the paper?
Where was the notice on a public hearing for this? For tonight?
It's,
Show me any
was
place where it
along
says
with,
tonight was a
it's in the
public
very
hearing.
back of this document.
Pardon?
Said it's in the very back of this document. It was put into the record. I'm not exactly sure, well, again. Oh,
It
this
was in
one
the
doesn't
record
have-
because it listed all 3
Yeah.
dates.
It has, actually, it listed Washington Township, Bruce Township,
In this meeting,
the village, and this meeting,
right, so there were 4.
so that people could come, ask questions, look at it, and see.
Do you have a copy of that we can see?
I don't know that I do. Hold on, I'm a little flustered right now, so probably.
I mean, at this point, I mean.
Right here.
I would open it up
And
to
everyone's-
public comment from anybody that wants to
Yeah.
The
comment.
board would have to vote on that. You
To
cannot,
have
you
public
do
comment?
you do not have the authority to open up for public comment without
It's on the
board
agenda,
vote. Without a board vote.
It's on the agenda. We approved the agenda.
Without a board vote. You need a board vote.
Why would we not want to?
The only thing that it says on here, master plan and resolution,
Why would we not want to?
we have to do it
Who says here?
the right
Actually,
way.
yeah, it is.
I know, but why would we not want to have public comment tonight?
We're just hearing opinions.
hearing
We're not
opinions.
making decisions. We're just getting community input, which is valuable information.
Because this commission should have had first,
But
and then taken to the public. We're doing it backwards.
No.
Okay, so.
We're doing it
Public
backwards. We're doing it the Praviti way. We're going to go out on Facebook, we're going to post all this crap.
We don't need
That
to
is
throw people
so
under the bus. That has
inappropriate.
nothing to do with where we are right now. I think we just need to focus on where we are right now.
I mean, there
So
is no,
I think we should just see if there's any public hearing, then we can do what we need to do.
Agreed.
I mean, we're not, by having public hearing, like you said, we are not approving or adopting the resolution.
And all I said was,
Agenda is, I'm Chief Christian, I interrupted you, I apologize.
no problem.
It is identified on your agenda as a separate item. There's
Public
the
hearing.
hearing issue, and then the separate and distinct resolution issue. And frankly, the hearing issue, there's no real reason necessarily for the commission to respond. It's just really
Right.
an opportunity to hear any input, if there's any input.
Additional input that, from what we've already gotten through the surveys and all that were done.
Yeah, I don't understand the argument here, and here's where I don't understand the argument. It is a board vote to open up any public hearing. It is a board vote to close a public hearing. It is not the chairman or the vice chair. It is a board vote.
Who makes the vote?
So
So can we vote right now to hear?
if somebody makes
Make
a motion.
Make a motion.
I will make a motion to open the floor to public comment regarding the master plan hearing.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comment. Come on up.
Pardon me for being late.
Oh, that's okay.
Let me start by identifying myself and where I live, et cetera, et cetera. So my name is Tom Matthews. I reside on Liberty Woods Drive in Washington, Michigan. Now, again, I apologize for being late, but any of these discussions coming from an engineering and business environment, I was trained and I follow procedure, precedent, and acceptable practice when it comes to the master plan or launching a rocket or anything else. So I simply ask the question, what are your past procedures in matters of this kind? I would assume you're not inventing the procedures as you go. So what are they and are you following them? I think that's a valid question. Would you agree? I don't know the answer.
So, again, in the past, the director was tasked to do a lot of everything, the work that worked up towards the budget, towards the master plan, or anything like that. The commission looks at it, looks at the public comment, and either agrees or disagrees. And
Is
it
that written
changes-
down anywhere?
So Tom, if I can kind of jump in here. Right now, we're having a master plan hearing, and we're asking for comments on the master plan. I'm not asking for your comments on procedures and everything else.
Okay.
Do you have any comments on this? This is what we're looking for. sir.
No.
Thank you.
That takes care of that, doesn't it? Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. We have to make a motion to close.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, as far as the resolution to adopt it, we're going to table that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
And if I can add another
Well,
part
add-
to that
add
right
into
there?
when. Let's-
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to table the resolution to allow this board 100% input on the master plan before it is presented again.
Well, we don't have to present it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we might have to
We-
next year. Because if it doesn't get in by the deadline, I don't know if you,
I'm honestly.
So anyways, I have a motion on the table, and until it's supported or
Yeah.
not supported, there's no conversation.
I would agree with that, whether the motion's seconded or not, before there's any discussion on the motion.
Didn't you second?
Okay, now discussion can happen at the board table.
Was it second?
Yeah, I second.
Okay, so all in, so,
If I could just ask the maker of the motion, I wasn't sure, you indicated you want this commission to have 100% input before it comes back to the commission. I'm not sure how that happens, because you have to have input at a commission meeting.
So in other words, as we had discussed earlier, to have the planner here, the creator of this document, to go over this document page by page, and we have our input on it.
So just for further clarification, having the planner who designed or assisted in designing the plan at a council meeting would be when you want to hear it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In an open public forum.
I understand the motion.
Right. Yes.
And I think
Because-
there may be others who wish to speak to the motion. I just wanted
Right.
Yeah,
clarity.
absolutely.
I think we need to add something to that, though, that we need to set some sort of a timeline. And I don't know,
Well, we can finish this motion, and then we can turn around and make a motion to have the special meeting, or when we want to do the meeting, when we
Okay.
want to do this.
all right,
So we can do it clean that way.
all right.
Is that acceptable?
That's certainly fine. The alternative would be to amend the motion, but the proposal to have a separate motion.
Right.
That's so awesome, okay.
Okay. Let's do it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Now, do you want to make a motion as far as?
What do you suggest, sir?
Well-
Want to make a motion?
I would like to get this done ASAP. And I know that
It's probably going to take a couple months to go through all this. By the time we go
Well-
through, we review it, it's not going to get done by Feb. 1.
Clara, is there a
Had
way to
this-
file an extension on the February 1st date?
Possible.
So we don't miss out on grants and
You're not going to
funding for
miss
next
out on
year?
any grants. Right now, we are not in a position to go for any grants.
Within the next
We
5
have
years?
too much money in the bank that we haven't spent.
Oh, my gosh.
We've done a lot of research on this right here.
Dan?
Does it make sense to, given the last motion, does it make sense to have the director inquire of the planner their
Right.
availability and to
Schedule
set
after.
the next meeting at the most the earliest opportunity when that person is available to present the current product to the commission?
Yes.
And then, she can send us the availability dates. We can send whether or not we're available. Nice and clean. Does not break any OMA
We'll
that
do it
way.
at the next one. I mean, the next one's going to be budget.
Right. I'll make a motion that we, again, find out what the availability of the planner is, see what dates he's available and what dates were available.
So the motion is to direct the director to contact the planner, get the availability, and notify the board for our availability.
Right.
Is that how I read it, sir?
Mhm.
And I will second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye?
Okay.
Aye. All right, next, update, property leases, Village of Romeo, Washington Township, and Romeo Community Schools. Village of Romeo.
That's kind of been put on hold. Because I didn't want to engage you into dealing with Romeo and us paying for you to discuss with Romeo since it's already been discussed. So I don't,
So I don't have any input on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't either. I mean,
Okay.
that right there needs to just.
So I guess there's a question there is when, do you have any idea when our other attorney will be back?
He's got a family emergency.
Yeah, I understand that, but is there any,
There is no time for it.
there's no timetable?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think we need to, now, did you guys have some sort of you had nothing written that went to John?
No, He was meeting with the, what's the attorney's name?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark Clark. And then Megan suggested that the four of us get together, but then
Okay.
John went, and then that's where we are. That was, I think,
So at this point, John doesn't really have a stake in it, so if you wanted to engage Dan.
unless you can find out what was actually talked about with Mr.
Well, I can
Clark.
ask if there was anything substantive.
Okay.
That I can let you know, give you a name, whether it was, if so, what it was, what it actually consisted
Okay.
of. I'll try to do that with you the next couple of days.
Okay.
It would be really nice to get some of these things pinned down.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
big one.
I think there was an email communication from that attorney who just said, when, no hurry, but whenever,
Well, sure, no hurry on his part.
that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but I don't want to put one dime into that community center until we get this resolved. This has been dragging on way too long.
Or Washington Township then?
I agree.
Yeah, Washington
100%
Township
agree.
as well.
Yep, because that's where all the
Are
money
you
that-
working with them too?
money goes for upkeep of those two.
Are you
And leases.
handling those too?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but we have to find out about Romeo and then deal with Washington.
But I don't know how we don't put money in. I mean, you mean major projects? Day to day, we
No
would be.
money for major projects, but keep it the status quo, you know? Keep it clean,
Right.
but we're not replacing floors, we're not replacing walls,
Well,
we're not
I'm-
replacing
I'm working on projects right now.
light fixtures. You shouldn't be. We don't own that building.
Well,
We
the
don't have a
budget
lease.
was passed last year and it's in the budget, so
Yeah, we don't-
I'm working on them.
We need to find out, because what's happening now, and I see the checks come through as you, Bob. I mean, the checks are constantly, we can't budget for, oh, we want to do this, oh, we want to do that. We can't budget for that. In budgeting for rent, for instance, the second building, that is automatic. You know what your budget's going to be. You can budget for that. And until we get this down, we need to find out if they're going to let us out of the 99-year lease, because that's the big thing right now,
Okay,
99-year lease.
but I mean, the budget was passed last year with some improvements that are happening, like
Right.
fixing the ceiling in the bathroom and working on the carpet in the smaller
I
room.
think those things that were approved
Because they're underway,
are in the budget. I mean, they go forward.
right?
But we're not, and I agree with Dan, I mean, I don't want to do anything substantive.
Right.
New, until we have some sort of an agreement, because
I mean, the
Otherwise, I'll
agreement,
let you come to my house and fix anything you want.
you just never know. I mean, in Washington Township as well, I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what the plans are for their buildings and things like that. and, you know, They may not either at this
You
point.
know, maybe this commission should at this time here entertain, maybe looking at Capital Banquet that's up for sale, seeing if they can rent that, you know, and consolidate everything into one building that's central. And the heck with the community center building, and the heck with Washington Township, bring everybody together and just have it at one building.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't think
I don't
that's big
think that- I
enough.
don't think
The
that's.
square
big.
footage,
It's a discussion item.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small space.
Pardon?
It wouldn't meet our needs. It's
Why?
not- It's not even as big as the community center.
Yeah, there's no way it could house all the programs, like the evening programs that run at night, there's no way it could house that.
But that is, I mean, that is something to think about.
yeah, those are discussions after we discuss this.
Right. The Romeo Community Schools Agreement, we
Okay,
went,
can we back up on the property leases? So
that's what we're talking about.
let's get a concrete plan here. What are we doing?
Well, I think we need to move forward on them. We need to put a little pressure where pressure is due. And
So Cindy is the committee with the attorney,
yeah.
okay? And then, so here's my motion. I motion that Cindy contact with the attorney, they put a date together, and they get a meeting with Village of Romeo within 30 days.
Okay,
And then the same thing with Washington Township within 30 days.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Second.
all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
This way here, we,
Yep.
you know, I
Yep.
agree, we need to move it forward.
Yep,
We've been sitting on it too long.
yep.
Yeah, I
agree.
just wasn't sure how long John was going to be out, but
Yeah.
we're just.
Well, I mean, at this point, like I said, I don't think anything substantive has happened that, I think Dan could, I'm assuming you have the time, right? Yeah. The Romeo Community Schools Agreement, we went through it, we updated things. They wanted us to put forth, what we thought as far as the agreement. We did that, and they sent it to their attorney, and that's where it's been for over a month.
So when you go with agreements and that start involving legal, before it gets sent to the other attorney, you should then bring that copy of the agreement to the board so that we have a chance to look at it, and then we take the next step.
Well, I thought that was why we set up these subcommittees.
Right.
To do that.
Right.
So we sat down with the school, we've had several discussions with them, and we put together, using the old agreement as a model, and put that forth. Now, I'm pretty sure that their attorney is probably going to come back with something else, so I did not feel it was, at this point, important to bring it to this board yet, because I'm sure there are going to be changes and alterations. So before we get to the point of bringing it to this board, let's get a document that they agree with, our committee agrees with, then we bring it to the board. That's the purpose
Okay,
of
all right,
having
it sounded like you were going ahead with the agreement.
No,
That's
Okay.
what it sounded like to me, so that's why I said, no, the board needs to look at this agreement and take a vote on it, whether or not they agree with the agreement.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm not signing nothing without, without the board.
Now, because that's a lease agreement, sir, if I may, we can discuss that once it's brought back into here, because it's a lease agreement in closed session.
Well, there is an exception for the purchase or lease of property up until the time that the auction is executed, if that's.
Well, once it's executed, then it
If-
becomes
if that's
public
the
record.
If that's the, if the commission wants to, or thinks that there's issues that it wishes to keep confidential, and it may, because it doesn't make sense to negotiate.
Yes, sir.
In the public forum, right.
Oh,
Okay, I guess we wait for that one to come back.
yeah. So when do you think we'll have,
I was gonna call this week, and I just didn't get a chance to.
Okay. so I'll make another motion
Give me 30
to
days.
have a meeting within the next 30 days to get this agreement started, so that the two sides can work it out, and then we can eventually come back to an agreement to this board and say yay or nay. My gut says that we're going to say yay, but, and then we can get all three of those things off of our plate and
Yep.
looking at them here.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, update bylaws.
I don't even remember where we were on those.
I think there were some changes that,
The last change
The-
with the township.
Well, I thought we already had that back at the last meeting in November, and we already went.
I-
Well, it was, we were supposed to do it in December, and we didn't have the December.
yeah,
meeting,
I
so-
think there were a couple of things that John wanted changed, or
I feel like there's a couple just small wording,
just small wording things that.
nothing
that-
substantial.
That I think.
Well, on the bylaws, John has no input on it.
I checked with him on that and got a text. He didn't think he had anything
Oh,
that he was working on from that angle, on that issue. I think he noted that he thought there might have been a few items that former Commissioner Zimmerman might have been working on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what,
There-
I don't know the details of
I think there were a couple of things where there were just like name change issues that were in the bylaws.
She had to add star.
Yes. Well, Star has its own.
But see, that agreement has already been accepted by Bruce and Washington, and it's already been filed.
That's the interlocal.
Pardon?
That's the interlocal.
That's the
Yeah, but
interlocal.
that had to be in there because it
Well,
was
in
in
the
the
by-
interlocal.
But in the bylaws, there was an agreement between, an amendment to the agreement that was agreed upon by Bruce and Washington. We have no say-so at that.
Right.
That's in the interlocal, but there's bylaws
The
too.
bylaws, that goes into the bylaws.
So this is Parks and Rec bylaws.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm reading this
Parks and Rec and
as
Star.
the interlocal bylaws,
No.
This is.
because
Parks
it
and Rec
doesn't
program.
say.
Yeah.
So this is PNR bylaws.
Yeah, Washington, Bruce, Romeo, Parks and Rec, Star Commission bylaws.
Right.
So that's what I think it was, the changes that were made on
Yeah.
the last.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what needed to go in there.
So were those changes done?
Because Phyllis left.
Okay. So we need to get those done.
Who holds the template to do that?
I kind of feel like John Sterin might have had him last,
Yeah.
only to, but not that, maybe Phyllis.
I don't know that he was the drafter, but I think it all went to him
last.
to review.
But I can check too.
The draft was done by Phyllis, it was done in Word. But I think Phyllis left before it was approved by Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we'll
I'll
table
follow.
that to the next meeting.
Well, I think we should have a direction,
Okay.
kind of like we're doing with Romeo
Yeah.
Community Schools, with the community center in Romeo and the community center in Washington. I think we should make some kind of motion and get a direction going.
All right.
There shouldn't be anything else in
But
it.
I'm not sure
It was
what the
done.
direction is, and so do you have,
So
board member
it's
have a
just
thought?
basically just some, I don't want to say typos, but
Typos.
typos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typos that needed to be cleaned up. So it's just a matter of those that are getting corrected.
right, but somebody has to do it that is attached to the board or to
I'll do it.
legal.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Judy.
All right,
Can you
so
get that
you will
from-
need the template in Word form.
Yeah, I can put that into my computer, make it a PDF and put it into Word.
Okay, so you can edit the PDF, you
Yep.
got it, PDF editor?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Well, we
So
probably
my
have the Word
motion,
document.
oh, I'll wait.
That's the last one.
Yes. This is final draft October 19th.
I think I have it.
And
As
you
long as I
have
know
that
it's the
in, electronically
Yeah.
already? Okay.
Sorry about that. It was one of my kids.
Okay.
Kids are important.
All right, so my motion is to authorize Cindy Knight to do the updates, the Parks and Rec bylaws, the Washington, Bruce, Romeo, Parks and Rec
And Star.
bylaws,
Yeah, it's the commission's bylaw.
and Star
Commission
bylaws.
bylaws.
Commission.
And the corrections, bring it back to the next meeting. And then, do we need to look at it one more time?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Just those.
All right, so
little-
we have a marked up copy of everything that,
Yeah.
you already have that? Okay, that's my motion.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Employment agreement, final review and signature. Thought we had done that, but,
There were some changes.
oh, just,
Honestly, I think.
I thought the changes were brought back in November. We approved, now we just need it signed.
okay.
Did they go to John?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to John.
So do we have a document to sign?
Who's employment?
Claris.
Clara Russell, Director.
Yeah, the minutes state Mr. Starren will make changes and provide an up-to-date contract for December meeting approval.
Yep.
You never forwarded anything to you, Claire?
No.
Teresa, so Dan, you'll, okay.
You'll follow up on that too, right?
If there's a motion, you'll have it.
All right, so I make a motion for legal counsel to finalize the employment agreement for final review and signature and bring it back to the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Cindy?
I'm going to take K and L,
Right.
PNC credit card and the gas credit card policy update. The gas credit card policy, we don't need that anymore. That was going to be for Star, but Star is going to keep their current gas card because they get points or something. Is that what it is?
It's tax exempt, so
Okay.
there's a reduction. If we wanted to do gas cards, we'd need to look into different individual gas stations where we could open up an
Oh.
account because of the tax exempt status.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, so we can just remove that one.
Okay?
The
All right.
PNC
So maybe make a motion to remove that
Make
permanently
a
from the
motion
record.
to permanently remove the guest credit card policy.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The PNC credit card, I am working with the bank on that. We do have stars in the work, and I sent you the list. So the one for the Parks and Rec, the problem, this has been the problem all along, the name, because there's confusion because our name is different than the name of the organization. So might be something that we need to think about in the future, because
What do you mean our name?
when they go to the website, they're looking at a different name than what our name is.
But that's why we submitted all the, our new paperwork.
The
We did.
interlocal agreement?
Yeah.
We did, but when it came to the credit cards, they had it questioned. So I have a form for everybody that needs to sign because they need the signers on, because the signers changed, and they need the signers on the new entity, our entity.
Sure.
So right now it's as a DBA.
No,
Basically,
no, the
basically.
bank had us under two different names.
Under two different names.
Yeah, they had
Because they
under-
never merged the two.
Yeah, because they had us under,
But we did submit our
We did.
paperwork, and when you guys went in to sign cards, it should have been under the.
we did.
We
new-
did.
Yep. And when I went in there to make sure that my name was on there, I reiterated it again, but this time it's cleared up. So the cards, as soon as they get this back, they will issue the cards for Parks and Rec. And just so everybody knows, the cards will go to certain departments, and they will be individually billed, so Verna can see who's spending what in a breakdown. And I believe we put $5,000 caps. Is that what we
On each
discussed?
one.
Yeah, $5,000
Each
caps.
department head will be responsible if one of their employees uses it.
Yes.
To know who's using it and for what.
Yeah, because currently there's one card,
Right.
so.
So would we like a motion there, or what do you think, Cindy?
The motion for the credit card was already passed, so this
Right.
is just
Just an update.
clarification,
Just an
and update on,
All right,
how we're
so
doing that.
You mentioned signature, so do
Yeah,
you need
I
to bring
need-
back signature cards for the board? or do you
yeah, I have them with me.
Okay, so tonight we'll sign the
Yep.
signature cards, and that'll be taken care
Yep.
of. Okay, perfect.
We need to sign them, or the people need to sign?
No, you guys do.
The
We all
board
need to
members,
sign.
because we're the ones authorizing.
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Task and motion review.
So we have that if we would like to go through the job description. We know where that's at, master plan.
Well, you mean the tasks and motions?
Yeah.
I would suggest we just table that right there, because we got some of these other things that we're going to finish up next month, and then just do it then. So that would be my motion.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
New business. I'd like to do B first.
My,
There's two people waiting.
yeah, my,
Well, here's the thing.
Wait.
If you're going to serve on a commission, you're going to get used to late nights. Am I right, Bob?
yeah. I didn't get, mine didn't print a second page.
Oh, here,
Verna,
it's
is
on the
this the
back,
one,
probably.
is this the one
Oh,
we were
yeah, it is.
discussing
Thank you.
earlier?
I'm sorry, what?
Is this the one we were discussing earlier?
The Washington,
Oh, the project bid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been.
no. This is the actual bid, but we can discuss the
Accounts payable
accounts payable,
for them.
the packet that came along with it, that was talked about
Yeah,
at the last meeting.
All right,
okay.
I'm confused. What are we talking about now?
Right now, the next thing is new business, and it's the commission candidate vote. And it was, for you guys, since it's two Washington Township people that are being replaced, to choose, and then for us to vote on as a commission. So, that being said,
The packet with their names on it is the one that I sat in front of you. If you want to review. Or if you need a copy. Do you need a
it's
copy?
towards, it's at the back.
It's towards the back.
At the back of the.
I just brought it.
Oh, I got them. They're.
Well, I did have it in the original, but I brought copies
Oh,
because there were quite a few.
Yeah.
Sorry about all the different emails.
there were 3 candidates. And they spoke at our November meeting, correct?
They did.
And we have their resumes and/or,
Do I have to make a motion for that?
I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk. Am I allowed to talk?
well, right now, it's, I mean,
Yeah. And it would be improper for the director to weigh in on this because this is her bosses we're talking about. We're basically picking the commission.
Dan and Cindy's
Absolutely.
call, and then
Yeah,
we
make a
vote on it
motion
as
for
a
what you want.
commission.
Okay. I make a motion to accept Amanda Bowers as a new member of the board.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Okay.
that's one.
You want me to step in?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I am.
At this time here, the Washington Township Commission members are only going to select Amanda Bowers at this point here. We have our reasons in that. We want to thank the other 2 applicants, but right now, we're only going to accept Amanda Bowers. Thank you.
Is that legal? I mean, that's,
Can we do that?
We can do that.
Did it allow?
We just
What-
did.
What,
Dan, Chris, is that
Is that
legal when we have 3 residents who have actually put applications in? The alternate is, they were actually assigned by the township boards.
So anyways, as I said earlier, it is improper for the director to weigh in on this subject.
Can I ask a question? We then need another alternate?
No, we need another member, another board member.
So we have to go through the process of applications again.
Pardon?
So we have to go through the application process again.
Or we'll find somebody.
Or if there was someone else that didn't come
Mm-hmm.
forward.
well, I think you have to go through the, taking applications again.
Right, you have to do the
fair.
due diligence of
We did do
opening it up
that.
to the committee.
We followed that procedure, but now this is a whole new round. We don't have to do it this time.
You don't have to send out applications. You don't have to seek applications.
Right.
Yeah, I don't,
That doesn't seem
I
right
think
to me.
we're
I don't,
right.
I
That's
don't
not-
agree with that. I think,
Yeah. Why have?
I'll
why
take legal
have
opinion on
interlocal?
that.
he's here.
Do we have the copy of the newest interlocal is in the master plan.
Well, then it would seem you took our applications under false pretenses.
Right.
Did not, no, sir.
I disagree with you, sir.
If you,
Furthermore, I find your behavior in these meetings and others I've been to reprehensible in your appearance.
you're more than welcome to speak at public comment.
You are unprofessional and reprehensible in your appearance and your behavior. And this is not the only meeting that I've seen you act.
Thank you,
before.
Tom.
You have you have a copy. Or do you want this? It's just. Oh,
Yeah, while he's doing that, can we take 5?
Pardon?
yeah.
well, he is
While you're
looking over
doing that,
this.
we're
Can we
gonna-
take
we're
a
gonna
5-minute?
Take a 5-minute break? Back to the business at hand.
James, didn't even get a chance to talk to him.
Should I make the motion, or should the Washington Township contingent make the motion?
Well, through the chair, I was asked to take a look at the
Yeah.
amended interlocal agreement with respect to the process for consideration by this commission for another, to fill the vacant seat. And based on my review, it's my recommendation that the commission go out and seek Washington Township residents who may be interested in fulfilling the role of commissioner on this board, and that a potential motion, the commission would be to direct the clerk to provide notice to Washington Township residents for those interested applicants to provide a application to her for presentation to the board and consideration at its next meeting.
Okay.
That could be a motion.
So I'll make the motion that since we chose one of the candidates, that we're going to ask the Washington Township Clerk on our behalf to solicit applications from Washington Township residents for the vacant commission seat that is out there now.
I think that's good. You may want to suggest in that motion urgency so that
Right.
a deadline,
Yeah,
some period of time so that those materials can be provided to this commission before its next.
and what's our next meeting?
February 15th.
February 15th?
And then also in that motion where they're turned into.
Okay,
Where they're turned into.
so would they would be turned into the commission, right?
Right, they would be turned into, but how do we get it?
Normally,
I
you would
don't
use
want
the
it to go through
director.
Parks. Excuse me, I don't want it to go through Parks and Rec buildings.
They can
Why?
send it to me.
I'm
So
okay with
inappropriate.
that.
Okay, so, add to the motion that, the deadline for applications should be February 10th.
Defamation.
And that would give us time, to look at them prior to our February meeting on the 15th.
You got-
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Still keeping February's meeting to 3 hours.
Right?
Trying.
You have to.
This one's
I was gonna
this
say,
is
we
gonna be
put-
le-
we
this
voted
one's
on
gonna
it
be
last
less than
time.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is the Washington Parks project bids. We need to discuss the bids that came in for the projects that were bid out by Giffords and Webster. The bids came back significantly higher than anticipated, and so I think we need to relook at what we want to do, what's appropriate to do, and and basically at this point, just looking for suggestions on where we should head from here. I mean, I have my ideas, but I think the bids, I mean, I was kind of floored by the bids myself. I thought they were way out of line. And I also think that, and I don't know, I think in the planning process, we were advised that it would cost, there would be certain costs, and in some cases, they weren't even close.
You know, and yet, I'm kind of disappointed on how far this went because a budget was given up front. This is what we're looking at right there. And so we asked to buy, you know, a Yugo, and getting a full-blown H1 Hummer, with a
Right.
jet engine in it. And that's, I can see one better over a Gilcher Chrisman, but in the local parks, no. Like Bruce. Like, the three parks around here, that have the pavilions, those are basic, and that's what we wanted.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think we need to look at, what is the actual need? Yes, hey, what was bid out was beautiful. But
Now, the one for Gilcher.
it seems for a building that has no sides and no facilities, that is an awful lot of money.
Yeah, but it's also getting prepped for electric, water, and it has cement in there.
Yeah, and
I can see the one for Gilcher, okay, because that was looked at, and if you look at the numbers in there, it was looked at for $800,000, okay? This thing's coming in at $819. Low side 636, high side 920. So this one's coming in
Yeah.
with what we expected, because this is the one that's going to have the build out on it. But the one for Washington Park, no, we expected that thing around the 80,000 mark.
right.
So
And because
that's-
for that one, I mean, the build out for water and sewer and stuff like that is feet,
Right.
rather than,
And then build a facility there where you can do your business, yes.
right. So this may dovetail into the master plan conversations. I think.
Well, I think the Washington one is good. Excuse me, Gilcher. And we can move forward with that right there. Because we do have the money and we have numbers underneath what we were looking at, the 800,000. So I think that one's okay. But the one for Washington is way out of line. We're looking at a pad with a covering with some pillars and call it a day, and instead we got, well, I think it's overkill. Now, I understand that we wanted a bathroom attached to it, but then in the discussions, because of the grade in that right there, we couldn't put the bathrooms over there, so they were going to be put separate. And so now that no longer came into it. So I think we send the one for Washington back out for have Giffords redesign it and decontent it. And then, but I think we should move ahead with the Gilcher one. And the question that I have here, so these are the,
And my question too was, though, Gilcher would be nice,
yeah, because
Does it
that right
need to
there would
be-
serve thousands of residents.
but that one is big.
Yeah.
Do we need one that big, or would it be better to have two smaller ones?
I know what you're saying.
Because-
We looked at a big one right from the beginning, and actually, this right here is shrunk down from what was originally talked about. So this is actually smaller than what was originally talked about.
It's definitely more than was talked about. Because I was shocked when the bid went out with the approximate cost of $760,000. Because we were talking like $400,000 when we were having meetings back. When?
We were, and then in your, in the numbers that you have written down, you have 800,000.
I have 400.
How far off are they from Mike?
Huh?
How far off are they from Mike? Because
Well,
you guys coming up with the price, it's construction.
yeah,
Cost
so
of
the one for
everything.
Gilcher, where we came up for that budget was the PC here in Bruce Township
approved one exactly like that. And Mr. Philbrook gave me that information and gave me those numbers
From when? How
Pardon?
long ago?
last year.
Oh.
Well, even from last year to this year, I mean, I can tell you just from pricing stuff out for my own house, the prices have
Well,
close
I
to
get
double.
that, but it's not going to go up
Yearly.
500%. It's not going to go up 500, it might go up
Oh,
25%,
All
30%.
of this.
It's not going to go up 500%.
There, as far as size goes, the size of the pavilions and the needs of what they would be used for, do they go hand in hand?
So at Gilcher, we had thought that we would build a larger pavilion. It wouldn't necessarily, I mean, one way to bring the price down is to actually look at the size that's there. And part of the biggest price, or making the price so high, I think, is bringing the electric and the water back to that area. But,
And then plus they, he did the aesthetics on there with the brick around the pillars.
right, but even when we looked at them prior to this, before
Right.
having engineer, we were looking at like a $300,000 structure that was about the same size as that. So it's just with all of the different, I'm not saying he did a horrible job, but we know now, we're looking at these prices, so we have funds, but again, if we're gonna follow, once you figure out where you wanna spend the funds, I guess, and how much, that's what you're gonna wanna do. If you're putting the master plan off, then I would suggest putting the,
Well, that's, I think
The
some of these
project.
things kind of go hand in hand, because
Right.
they're in the master,
Right.
the upgrades are in the
because
master
we've
plan.
talked about them.
Why, but this has already been approved to
No,
move forward. No, to move forward, to go out for bids and that. So that's the point that we're at right here. I would suggest that we send this back to Giffords, we have them decontented, and make these cheaper structures. And one suggestion that I heard before was, all right, we do one and not the other right now. And I would more favor having the one over in Gilcher, because you can put a few thousand people over there, and they can use it.
Which again, though, I mean, I guess, my concern, or my, and I may be totally off, and this is where Clara can, chime in and correct me if she thinks I'm wrong. If somebody is signing up to use this, how many people do we have that want that large of a space? You're not going to be able to rent it, or not rent it, but whatever, to two people. This, that's not, they're not going to have two parties under the
Right.
same roof type of thing. Would we be, looking at historically, and I know we can't just base on historically because we haven't had facilities
Right.
to compare it to, but what are our normal users and their numbers?
yeah. So I would say for, like out here, 50 to 100 people come to parties when they rent the community center or
Okay.
use Washington Township for baby showers. I would say that the probable number is between, and I could get you some actual numbers if you'd like, but it's probably around 50 to 100. So, we could do that. Of course, I was going for large because, but that was when I was thinking it was gonna be, $400,000 or $500,000 to be able to do this. So,
I guess my other question is, would we be better off having, Gilcher is such a large park.
right. Oh, having more than one.
Can we have two smaller ones in different locations to accommodate? Because I can see people using it to get out of the sun.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say some type of larger one. Even if you took the one that's there and cut it in half, it would be a lot larger than even the
Oh,
one
yeah,
that's here.
right.
I think would be beneficial because of all of the soccer and the outside sports.
Oh, yeah,
that
I'm
are
not
played out
saying,
there.
I would not even suggesting one as small as this
Yeah,
one. This
yeah.
one-
But I
That's
mean,
for like a
this-
family.
I mean, again, we use it all. The residents will use, but if we are, adding permanent restrooms and things like that, and maybe it's a phase of doing it, but I do think that's a lot of money I would like outdoor space that is covered because it would be good for programming for the community. But I don't necessarily know that it has to be as large as it is there, so.
You just hit on numbers 400 to 500. We have one here for 636. And as Pam stated earlier, costs are up. So is the 636 out of line against the 400 or 500?
From being in the industry, I think 400 is a pipe dream,
To try to buy it for
Yeah.
that.
unless you're going to get something that's not commercial, and you're talking about building something.
A pavilion,
Yeah.
I mean, if you,
So we
Does it-
have the money in the
Does
budget.
does it make sense to not run the water and sewer to it right now?
Well, right now, that's not in the budget for that. In other
I thought
words,
that was part of this bid.
yeah, I did too.
pardon?
I thought it
That was,
part of
that's part of this bid.
They have the water and sewer run to this?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought so.
that's what was discussed.
Yeah. That's what really ran up, I think that ran up the cost.
I mean, I think it would warrant talking to Mike Kozak.
No,
so
I
that we
think
could-
it's for future for water and sewer there. But not to run it right now because the
They were
piping's
running.
not there.
Well, because he kept talking about
Yeah, he was
running.
trying to decide which way to run it.
Yeah, run
Yeah,
it
because I
900,
thought it
900
was
feet or.
better to
Right,
do it at
but
the
this
beginning of
is
the
just for a
process.
structure. Now you have to have a separate price for water and sewer. Those two do not go hand in hand. They marry together.
Well, it was, it was
But
project
this-
cost.
But this builder here is not going to do the water and the sewer. Now, the electrical, wire it up, but then we'll still need to run electric line to it.
Right.
From another remote, and that's not in here.
I thought it was.
Do we have
Not
copies of
preparation.
the actual proposal?
Demolition.
All I have are numbers. You know what,
We all
let me see
received
if I
that.
can bring it up here.
I don't know if I was going through the old emails to see if I seen it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Let me
in
bring
here.
up-
Electrical service for Gilcher, electrical service for, it's a,
I'm sorry, I can't
It-
read.
electrical service is listed in here for Gilcher. I haven't seen if, sewer lead, water main, it's all in here. It's down under C, general park improvements.
Yep.
Yeah, but doesn't he break it out if we remove the pavilion and related items at Gilcher? He's removing these items, so I don't look and see what those items are.
19, 20, and 21.
Eighteen, 19, 20, and 21. Yeah, there he's removing, that's where a good portion of the money's coming from. If you remove 18, 19, 20, and 21, did he say?
18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 is what you told me.
Okay. So that's removing all those. See, that's $1 million right there.
Oh,
Oh, no. What's he talking about? Open air, electric.
So 18, it says 9,600 square foot
right.
open air pavilion. So we're removing that. I don't understand.
Wait a minute. What?
Huh?
On Mike's letter, do you guys have Mike's letter?
What date is that, please?
December 7th.
And that was to Parks and Rec website, or Parks and Rec email?
It was to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it went to all of us.
If we remove all the pavilions related to, okay. So, yeah, because the original prices, was what? 1.4
I'm having a
million?
hard time reading it here, so I'm going to bring it up on lap.
But if we're pausing on the master plan, and this is all tied into the master plan.
I'm sorry?
Since this is all tied into the master plan, and we're pausing on that right now, should we also?
This is not tied into the master plan because this was approved prior to that, and it's already been approved by the prior board to continue with this. So now we just continue with it.
But you just said about working what's in the budget right now for the community center, even though it was approved, is no longer, I have to not.
No,
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 do anything.
no.
No,
Those
what
items
Bob
we
said earlier-
those items were already approved. We're talking about anything future in the master plan that has to do with either one of those buildings.
Yeah, yeah, but
There's,
like Bob stated earlier, those are already approved, so those are underway, continue. Did I misread that, Bob?
No, that's correct.
this is in the master plan, though. The, Gilcher.
Yeah, but it was already approved.
There we go.
But,
You have
but
his
not,
letter?
but not in the amounts of money
Right.
that came,
Right, yeah.
that the bids came back at. So that's
Well,
why we need to
So
look
those are
at.
choices. Either A, we send it back, we have it decontented. B,
When I think that's what was done here.
we pick one or the other.
Well, and pickleball,
Pardon?
and pickleball. Pickleball.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
I haven't even looked at the numbers for the pickleball. So, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, looks like the pickleball, the lowest is 163,
Yeah.
So,
so that's separate from that.
And what were we expecting to pay for pickleball courts?
The last ones.
And what was, if this stuff was, it was approved to move forward and get bids, and there was money set aside for this, but,
I don't know that the pickleball is that out of range.
yeah,
Just from, because when we did the addition down at Washington, hold on, let me see what it was in this Gilcher.
As the pickleball in discussion, we found out some things, actual pickleball players, on what's you need,
right,
as far
Wow.
as, a
That's
particular type of
here nor there.
surface and that.
yeah,
Not
We
the
have
typical-
that.
Pardon?
I said, we have that.
Yeah.
The surface and the.
Yeah.
They just, the directional and how they would like.
and they
to
changed the
Yeah.
direction to north
But
and
the
south.
prices,
Yeah.
that prices, okay, so let's go back to the pavilion. So it looks like what he's pulling out is the water service, the water main, sewer lead, sanitary, all that stuff. He's pulling that out.
So the lower price is just the structure itself
Looks like-
and electrical.
Yeah,
Right.
in his letter.
See,
It's 19.
The total bid, and that's with replacing existing light fixtures with new light fixtures, 10 grand there, electric service for new light pole. Those were things that was needed, right, Clara, by having those over there?
Yeah, if you add additional courts.
And how much did we have in the budget on the pickleball? Because this has the fence and everything around it, right? Yeah, fence, 10-foot high, black vinyl coated, 4-foot wide gate, light pole with 2 fixtures.
Replacing the existing light fixtures with 4 new ones.
Pardon?
And replacing the existing,
Yeah,
and then the service.
aggregate base, pickleball. Yeah. So what is HMA, MDOT, and 5 EML and 4 EML?
That's the aggregate,
That's the aggregate
yeah, those are all aggregate
that
things.
goes on top of the 8-inch base?
That I'm not sure. I think it probably is, yes,
Okay.
is what it,
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, because it says ton.
yeah.
Can we
That-
break it out and do one at a time? So like we're doing pavilion and pickleball?
That's what I'm kind of thinking, do the
Well-
pickleball over in Washington Township Park, you know, because we're all looking forward to that. you know,
Yeah.
Everybody. And yeah, I don't know what the budget is, but we'd have to do, we could take it some out of this year and some out of next year, so that we spread the cost over. So whatever we don't have for this year, we can put in to next year,
Do we, well,
because we're not going to pay for it until it starts.
right.
So right now,
I
all,
think- But we could just put the money into next year's, the 24-25
we will
budget.
probably have to give them 10%, 20% up front.
Well, but they're not going to start this probably until,
Right, yeah, until ground thaws, and absolutely, sure.
right.
But,
So you don't give them any money until they
Well,
ready to start.
right.
And
but
we'll be in
once
our
you
new
sign that
fiscal year.
Contract with them to go ahead and do it, they're going to expect a check for 10, 20%.
I'd be
are you
reluctant to
saying-
give somebody a check for
Removing this one?
months before they're even scheduled to start.
Removing what number?
You're removing the
So right now, we're looking at the
1,600 square
pickleball.
foot pavilion if we go to that one. I'm just trying to figure out the number there.
Okay.
Yeah, the 1,600 square foot pavilion was at Washington Township,
Yeah,
right? At
so
the
that-
township park.
So it would be 18, 20, 21, and 22. That was kind of his shrunken down version.
It really would be 19, right?
Did you find out the number for the pavilion, what we had?
The,
All right, let me go into it and go into Parks and Rec.
Really, it would be the 19, 20, and 21, right? Not 18.
Come into the budget.
for the pavilion, it was 300,000.
Pardon?
I want to say it was 300, I was just looking.
Yeah, because 18 would be
Right,
the pavilion.
right.
I haven't looked at it in a while, and yet I've sent it all over the place. Parks and Rec. Okay.
So Gilcher Pavilion was 300,000 with, there's some additions down there because that was set aside for capital development from the fund balance. But was that your question? Or was the?
The pickleball.
Pickleball is 90,000 right here.
Yeah.
But that was when we were just adding,
To the,
not for,
right, we were just adding to the tennis courts, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now this, and
Now
This
then,
is
it's
totally,
bigger.
this is now totally bigger, totally separate.
Yeah.
Twice as much.
so the 167, I don't think is out of line.
No, I don't
No,
think
not for
so.
what you're getting.
Yeah, so I'd like to make a motion to award the pickleball contract to Decima
For 160,
163,767.04.
second. All in favor?
You gotta have a roll call, because
Oh,
it's
we gotta
my,
have a roll call.
Oh, roll call.
Roll call, start with Dan.
Oh, Dan,
yes?
Bob,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Cindy.
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of that one.
So we got 1 out of 3 put away.
Now, they don't have to rebid if we take some of these things out. Would they have to rebid these because maybe the guy wouldn't be interested if he doesn't get you know what I mean? If the guy doesn't get the $1.4 million project, if he only gets a $600,000 project, he may say,
Alternates or
All right.
not? Were they alternates, or was it one?
No, there were-
four bidders.
There's 4.
They had no alternate, so this is the bid, this is what we
Yeah.
Now, so just using the highlighted,
numbers are big enough, don't make them any bigger.
But I can see them when I make them bigger.
Understand that. But that's a good question as to whether they're.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because I mean, I just know how some of the, you know, they have to,
See the RFP document.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
right,
that's what we need to see.
because they, you know, they don't, a lot of these guys don't want to take on a smaller project, you know? And if you're putting out a smaller project, you may attract other contractors that could handle a smaller, but not, you know.
So it was bid out all at one? It wasn't broken out into pieces? They had to bid the whole thing?
They had to bid the whole thing, but I think they did it in pieces because if you look at,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I didn't really put the bid together, so
My
But-
suggestion here
I never could have.
is we pick which park right now we want to put the pavilion in first. There's pros and cons for both. Gilcher Park would serve a much larger audience. The Washington Park, you got the senior center over there, and they can now start doing events for the seniors outside.
Oh,
And that's something that when they do the senior events right now, I'm sorry, I wasn't speaking into, when they do the senior events right now, the seniors all get in their cars and they drive up to Bruce Township Park to do their outside events.
why?
well, we use the Lions, the Washington Lions Club Pavilion. If you were, okay, in my opinion is, I don't know that Washington Township Park needs another pavilion as much as shade seats or whatever, if you're gonna pick pickleball and build those around like we had talked about before, but, the Lions have been very accommodating
Yeah,
when
they're
it
great
comes
to work
to
with.
Yeah.
their pavilion.
Yeah, because Washington has an agreement with the Lions that we can use it, basically, we sign the agreement every year and it costs us nothing.
Right.
And as a courtesy, we offer that to Parks and Rec, and then they can go ahead and use it. So they don't have the agreement, Washington has the agreement, it's just extended out.
Right.
So,
And-
but,
We don't have the
And
agreement.
don't we maintain it?
We help. We have helped, yes.
yeah,
We've planted and done many things to it, but yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that, I mean, as far as shade at the Washington Township Park, I mean, there's a lot of treed areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was
So-
talked about too, is planting trees with the benches around there.
Right.
But then we were moving into this project, so everything has been kind of like, there's a lot of different things to do besides if you don't want to build a pavilion.
I mean, I think it would be more beneficial at Gilcher.
I agree.
It would serve more
Gilcher, yeah.
people.
Yeah, I agree.
If you
I
have,
agree.
if you have an event that the weather is terrible,
Right.
a large community event, it
And we've done
allows you,
that.
yeah, it
Actually, our
allows
Halloween
you.
event was,
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out. We rented a huge tent but I mean, a pavilion there would have been great. And
Yeah.
that was a great event, honestly, to
and
have.
because there's something already going in Washington Park this year,
Yes.
we can now do Gilcher Park, and we now have filled needs in 2 parks. And then
In
we-
Washington.
Pardon?
I said, yeah, in Washington.
So I would suggest for right now that, you know, like Pam said, that we back off of the Washington Park for the pavilion,
I agree.
and then we concentrate on the one for Gilcher Park, which is the 636 out of line then. I understand your argument as far as having smaller ones, but for events and that.
Well, yeah, see, that's why, you know, like, I I value Claire's input because.
Absolutely.
When you look at the events that they have, like the Halloween event and things like that, see, I wasn't necessarily thinking in that mode. I was thinking in individuals or groups
Right, renting.
wanting to use it.
Right, where we could rent it out and stuff like
Right.
that, you know?
We're not
Or
renting.
activities.
Right,
No.
right.
No, but we would if we got to the point that it had a kitchen and we had to have a person on site.
Oh.
to, you know,
Right, but
Profit.
just to cover the cost.
Right.
Yeah,
Could be used for other activities,
right,
like
right.
And then,
every
Yeah.
Saturday have fruit.
Yeah, you could have a fruit
Yeah.
market.
all for, yeah,
The
that's
farmer's market.
contract. But,
Just because something was tried 10 years ago and
oh, Cindy, you
failed,
don't have to tell me that. I get that
trust me,
constantly.
I see these other communities and everybody goes to them. And I watch the Facebook and everybody says, we should have. So what happened 10 years ago? We have a whole new board here, so let's focus on that. The biggest thing is the cost.
Okay, so then, what Dan is talking about is
Well, I'm prepared to make a motion.
636, 290, 47, for the pavilion,
As long as they're willing
as
to
long as they're willing.
right, I
To
mean.
do the
yeah,
project
we can
based
go
on
to
what
them.
we've taken out.
And I gotta believe that, because Mike's pretty good on this right here, that he wouldn't, let me go back to it.
You wouldn't put that in writing.
So he wouldn't propose it and say, hey,
If he didn't think it was gonna work.
right, he went ahead and he said, okay, let's
If I
go back
strip
to
it
the
down.
actual email, that if you remove this and this and this and this, this is what the price would be. So I'd like to make a motion to award Decima LLC in the amount of $636,290.47, the project removing items 18 and 20.
But 18 is the 9,600 square foot open
Yeah.
air pavilion.
Yeah, that's what
You don't wanna remove that.
Right.
That's what
You
we're
want to
wanting
move
to build.
19.
Would it be wise to talk
Oh,
to
wait a
Mike
minute,
Kozak?
Yeah,
Maybe.
You know-
Yeah, talk to him
Because-
first before we make a final
Wait,
decision.
why are we okay, this is.
So
Yeah,
I'm wondering if that's just
This
a
thing is
mis-
confusing. All right, I'm gonna.
I'm guessing it's a mistake
table my
on his
motion.
end.
Withdraw my
an
motion.
oops,
yeah.
where the
And-
wrong number got
or-
typed in.
Or maybe if you just remove 18 and 20,
Or is he talking just,
that-
Doing it.
That's $600,000 probably.
So I make a
so what are we
motion that we
paying for?
put this back to Mike Kozak. We table
For
this and put it back to Mike
clarification?
for clarification.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got here 18, 19, and 20. Well, then you're removing both pavilions. And what are we gonna do? Just
Yeah, and we
run
wanted,
water and
and it's the
elec-
pavilion we wanted.
Right, yeah, not just a water pipe and.
And we told them we wanted to build out in phases. Right now, let's get the structure there. Down the road, we'll bring water and sewer in there.
And I understand where he's coming from. This stuff only gets more expensive.
Yeah, I
You know,
get it.
I think we told him we kind of wanted it all. We went for gusto, so maybe we need to back off now at
Yeah,
those
yeah.
committee meetings.
Because we came in and now we got sticker shock.
And we still do have, we do have some other, what I feel are pressing issues that need to be addressed as far as additions in these parks. Security, especially if we're putting up a pavilion.
For sure.
We need cameras, we need better lighting, we need
Fencing.
fence, things like that, I think go hand in hand with putting up a structure. Because you don't want to put up a structure and have it vandalized.
And yet, security cameras and electric was put in there right up front for these parks. So that is in the budget.
Oh, yeah, it's not in this, but.
No, it's a separate line item.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's not in this right here. So what do you suggest the motion to be? Any,
Well,
I make a motion that we table this and get some more clarification from Mike Kozak.
I think we need to get definite clarification from him on,
What
is he
item?
actually talking about those items? Because you're talking about removing both pavilions in the first one. Oh, yeah, it says if we remove all the pavilions relate, okay.
yeah,
So why, if we remove the pavilions, what are we doing?
Just
So-
putting in water.
if I can suggest maybe amending that motion just a touch?
Go ahead and
to
make-
send this back to Giffords Webster to just put in for the pavilions and get a bid out for the pavilion in Gilcher Park only right now. And then next year, we'll look at Washington.
The 9,600 square foot one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got that.
got that?
If you guys are all speaking in your mics, I'll play it over and over and over.
Got that?
Got it? Just do it again, because I did it and then you changed it.
All right, so I make a motion to send it back to Giffords Webster to have the pavilion only, because he wants all the earth stuff done, to just have a bid for the pavilion
At Washington, or at
At Gilcher.
at Gilcher Park.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Aye.
Well, yeah, okay.
We're not spending any
Any money,
money.
No, we're not spending any money. Do you guys want to add anything to that? I mean, any other board member?
I mean, I would say if we're talking security cameras and all that, electrical would probably be important to get run out
Yeah.
in the building process. Maybe the water part is something that we back off on.
Well,
but
the
we
water
would
has to be
need-
dragged from the road, and that's a huge
Right.
cost. So the water and the sewer, you'd want to do those at the same time, because you only want to dig once.
Right, but having electrical go in this first time, because if we're building the structure, we need electrical out there if we're going to put security cameras and lighting out there.
So what we want is a pavilion that's ready to wire up, that all we have to do is bring the connection to. That's what we're looking for. Kind of like when you build a pole barn or a garage, a freestanding pole barn or garage on your property, the builder does everything there, and then utilities hook up, then the electrician comes out and does that, but he wires everything else.
Well, I mean, I think the electrical service, they've got, in here
It's
for
in here.
$9,700.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
9,700.
9,700.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's, because that's got
It's the
to,
full package. Or like when we met all of those times, we were asking for kind of the full package. So I think, but Mike Kozak could be able to explain it better, I'm sure.
That
But
might
to be
be
able
why
to
he
pare
wrote
it
that
down,
Yeah,
email.
hopefully he can.
To the pavilion with
Yeah.
electrical, so we can have the lighting and the security.
Yeah.
I think it's worded wrong, because if you look, he includes the electric, because he's saying 18, 19, 20, that includes that electrical. I think it's just the email's worded wrong.
That's what I'm
He
assuming.
pulled those out, so that's why we need clarification.
I'll call Mike Kozak tomorrow. Or no, I can't call him tomorrow, I'll be flying. I'll call him Monday or Tuesday and tell him that we want what we want right here, that we want it prepped for electric.
oh, we want the electric run.
Pardon?
We want the electric in the
Yeah.
bid. We
Yeah.
want it run. We want
He's
it.
got,
If they're
Right, but
going
it's
to
got to
put,
come from, we think it can come from a pole that's at the far end of the field.
No, it's it's in the little woods that are right by,
Oh, okay, all right. Last I knew, we only had it out at the electric pole. Okay, good.
so I mean, we're going to put it up. I think we need to put it up with electricity and lights.
Electricity and then lighting.
And I believe lighting was in this.
yeah, 20.
Yeah.
20 for Gilcher is number 20.
That's electrical service. That's not necessarily lighting.
Well, I guess we need to see what that electrical service,
What it includes.
Right.
I think there was only one more item that needed to be discussed that I didn't see on here. With Stan. Are we
Huh?
going to discuss that?
Oh, yeah, well, we tabled that at the
Last
last.
meeting. Yeah,
what?
I didn't see it on here, so that's why I want to,
Did we vote on that motion?
I don't,
yeah.
On Dan?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
yeah.
have an eye.
Okay, there was so much I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you should have the payable list in front of you, or I did a
a
spreadsheet.
breakout.
Because normally, the unwritten rule, apparently it's unwritten, is we pay 40%. So the first column you'll see is what their actual, the invoice total was. Second column is what our 40% would be. The third column is what they actually billed us. And then the last column is what percentage we're paying of each bill, according to how they billed us. At the bottom, I put, because Dan, you had asked me last time, were we splitting hairs, whatever, what is the difference? Well, if we were to pay our 40%, it would be $5,402.10 cheaper than the way they broke out the bills. So without actual clarification, like this one that's 67%, they said they did more work for us. Great. If there's a bid to back it up or to show me, because, okay, so our audit last year went very well, and we had, we actually came in like $5,000 cheaper. One of the things I like to do is get my backup now before, when the auditors come in and they say, well, where did you come up with this? How come you're paying 40% on all your bills, but this one you're going to pay 67%? Well, where did that number come from? And all I have is a bill with numbers and no way to back into that 67%. 50% you can tell is a 50-50, but where did the agreement come from? Like, I need authorization on everything,
Okay, I understand that. So I sat with the clerk today.
And I
And I
spoke,
went over that stuff. And Cindy, I believe you
I
had a conversation with Stan. Do you want to do yours first, your conversation?
that portion, that check, the amount they're asking for was all Parks and Rec.
Which one?
The check that, were there some checks cut to them, or do we hold them all off?
I paid, we paid the benefits that, we know were ours. The holiday lighting, I think that had come up at one of these commission meetings. Why are we paying 100% of the holiday lighting?
Because I don't think, we decided we didn't do the front of the building and stuff. We only did the senior center, right?
Right, well, we don't even know if the whole $3,000 was spent because the parking lot was under construction and we weren't even in there in December, but there was some lighting done.
Oh,
Well, the lighting, it was done.
Yeah.
But
it
the
was.
decision is, are we paying
At
the 40%?
the previous meeting was we were going to pay the 40%, but nobody had really told me 100% that we're paying 40%, so I just need to know what I'm going to pay.
All
That
right,
was,
so I'll-
on the Christmas lights, that was discussed because that was something that Clara, you had said, you and Sam already discussed that,
Well,
the
for the
previous year.
last prior years. Yeah,
Okay.
for the last prior years, Parks and Recreation has paid for that.
Okay, so
So
that
then it
one,
was ordered, and then it was, no, we don't want to pay for it, or,
well, because I think because the big tree out front is gone.
right.
Right.
So the tree that we decorated was actually on the
Right.
Lions property.
But
So-
it was, I would have to look back. Was it ever discussed? Is it
Yeah.
going to be 60/40?
So I'm going to jump into here. So I sat with
Bill.
Stan for quite a while, and we went over these things right here. And now the 60/40 has been for things like roofs, parking lots, stuff like that, that both entities use. And it's not fair to charge it 50/50, because Washington does use a little bit more. Okay? If you took all the square foot, upstairs, downstairs, everything else, it probably would be 50/50, but we got to be fair. There are things on here that are strictly Parks and Rec. Okay, so the 100% ones, those were strictly for Parks and Rec. The ones that are 2/3, it's because more of the bill was applied to Parks and Rec because 2/3 of the work was done over there. Can you break that out and say, well, here's the documentation on it? No, we only have an invoice, here's a total invoice, and then they go through and they figure out that, hey, most of this right here is Parks and Rec, like the elevator. The elevator is over in the Parks
If I
and Rec.
may, but how did Stan get to the
All right, so if I can
67%?
finish. So the elevator part of it is all 100% in Parks and Rec. The township doesn't use it.
Well, that's not true, because now they've taken over the upstairs. So,
There's 2 elevators in there.
oh, I know.
Yeah,
And how do they not use it? They have rooms in the basement that they use
Yeah.
as well. But I guess the thing is like, tell us what to pay. Well, what are we gonna pay and how? We really should have some type of backup, because if we're coming from anybody else and not Washington Township, and they said, okay, 60 is the normal thing, but now you're paying this and this, we would need an invoice
And that's
to
what the
attach
auditors
to
are
it.
going to say to me, well, where did you come up with this number? So right here.
Because that's what you were invoiced at. So I'm going to make a motion here.
Okay, but it's not, this, this is just a copy of the Red Guard invoice. Okay, and it says according to the bid. Well, if they put the documented bid behind it, then I have documentation of what part was the senior center and backup of how they arrived at that number. That's all I'm asking for.
That's
is-
the 100% one, right?
No, that's the 67%. Some of the 100% I think are because we've always taken care of one of the elevators, I think the one that goes
I
to
mean, it
the
was
Jade
normally
room.
like 1 and 1.
Like, we took one elevator, so the monitoring of this elevator, this $79 is, legit, so I can pay that, no problem. This one's 40%, so I can pay that one, no problem. This one's 40%. And that one's a quarterly monitoring, so it's just 3. Monitoring your elevator remote, so they must have just backed up on their bills of what Red Guard sent them, so they had 3 of them on there, so that would be ours. Some of them are 60/40, and some of them I get are 100% on the monitoring, but somehow they had some backup to go line by line through numbers to come up with this $3,425.60. They didn't just say, well, I think more of the building was used as a senior center, so I'm going to bill them 67%. Somehow they arrived at that number. 1 + 1 = 2. Somehow they arrived at this number, because they didn't just say, we're going to charge them 67% in lieu of their normal 40. Somehow he had backup to come up with this number, and that's all I'm asking for to put with this, is so when the auditors ask me, I'll be like, yeah, because this was all ours, and it says per the bid, so that's all I want to see. I just want the backup.
He has the knowledge of it right there. Being the clerk, he's the one out that got the
I
bids.
understand that, but the auditors
So
want the
he's-
backup.
I was gonna
So
say, but
he's
she
the one
needs,
that
she needs the
went out.
paper.
Okay.
Okay, three of us can't talk.
I'll make a motion that I will get that information for you from Stan by next week, so that we can get them paid.
Okay, and we're going to go 100% on the lighting, correct?
Yes. Because the lighting was Parks and Rec.
Is that your whole motion? Somebody want a second?
Second?
All right, so now we can have discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought we were having discussion.
My point of contention is here, is the clerk went out, identified the work to be done, or got requests from Parks and Rec, got the contractor, turned around, got the bill, and then determined the 60/40 because it's a shared, like a parking lot, like a roof, stuff like that. And the other stuff, he looked at it and says, more of that is over in the Parks and Rec area than it is in the Washington area. And there were a few items here that were 100% in Parks and Rec. Okay?
I get that.
So he did all of
Just asking
that.
for the backup, that's all.
And so my contention is this entity who's going through all this accounting, they're not getting paid for this at all. So should that get pushed back on Parks and Rec? That they do their own stuff and then they don't have to worry about the bills?
It is the way it is because that is how Washington Township wants it.
Hence the reason, let's just finish this vote.
Exactly.
Pardon?
Let's just finish the vote, and then I'll say what I want.
Well, any
All in
more
favor?
conversation first?
Huh?
I'm done with my conversation.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No.
Asking for documentation.
Okay.
I mean, from the Parks and Rec standpoint.
Well, the vote's already taken. I'll support the vote.
Right,
whatever
but
the
I
board
mean,
votes.
we need documentation as to why we're paying more than what is scheduled to
And
be
it's not
paid.
for me, it's for the auditors.
Exactly.
Because we're going to have to dig it up now, dig it up later.
Yep.
And I just assume have everything together when.
I'm going to guess, I'm going to take an educated guess that these things have been happening for a long time.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
And why are we just now questioning it?
Because we have a new commission that questions us and the audit.
But when the commission approves the bills, there is no question then.
But
They weren't
The auditor.
But the same with when the auditors come in and they want to know on our instructors and everything, well, where's the contracts? That's why we went through and got all these contracts together, because the auditors, and Cindy knows, she talked to Pam, that, you know, they want to see it in writing. Where did we arrive at this? Where did we arrive at this? And it's one of their big hangups. Well, how did you come up with that? So if it's always been 60/40, how'd you come up with this? Well, this is just what they gave me. Well, you need to have backup. I mean, I can't tell you how many things in the first audit I did, they were like, well, you need backup, and we had to go back and forth, and it took longer and longer. Last year, we were almost clean, you know, we came in well under budget on the audit, because if I get the backup now, while it's fresh with everybody else, then we don't have to hunt it down in March, and we can close that audit quicker, keep the audit fees down. So it's just a piece of paper, it's just the backup.
Yeah. Well,
Somehow
the
we
board
got that
voted
number.
that Cindy's going to go out there and do it, and I'm good with that.
All right. That's it, right? Other than community comments? There aren't any?
Do we have any mail-in comments?
Nope.
Nope.
And commission comments?
Just that we really start looking at consideration and as far as leasing. So we're not taking these little things, because this takes up our time. Every time we vote on something that needs to be done somewhere, would just be so much easier if we were just one place or renting.
If there was a facility that met the needs, that was willing to do that, that's certainly something to consider, but. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no, you got it.
I know, we all got it.